You're in a quiet room, someone says something awkward, maybe a joke that didn't land, maybe a serious moment that suddenly feels too heavy. And before you even realize it, you laugh. Not a small smile, not a polite chuckle, a real laugh. But inside, nothing about the moment feels funny. In fact, you might feel tense, embarrassed, uncomfortable. And later you think to yourself, why did I laugh? If this has ever happened to you, you're not weird. You're not insensitive. And you're definitely not alone. Because sometimes laughter isn't about humor at all. Sometimes it's your brain trying to survive a moment it doesn't know how to handle. Picture this. You're sitting with a group of people, maybe friends, maybe coworkers. Someone suddenly shares something serious. I just got fired. Or someone trips and falls in an awkward way. For a split second, the room freezes. No one knows what to do. And then someone laughs. Maybe it's you. And immediately you feel that strange mix of reactions. Part of you is thinking, why am I laughing right now? While another part of you can't stop. The moment feels tense, strange, almost surreal. And laughter just slips out. It feels automatic, almost like a reflex. Because in many ways, it is. Here's something most people don't realize. Your brain hates uncertainty more than failure, more than embarrassment. Your brain hates not knowing what to do next. So when something socially confusing happens, your brain searches for a response. Should you comfort them? Should you stay quiet? Should you change the topic? But those answers take time, and the brain doesn't like silence in tense moments. So it reaches for the fastest emotional release it knows, laughter. Not because the situation is funny, but because laughter instantly releases tension. It's like your brain pulling an emergency lever that says, let's break the pressure. Think about the last time you laughed in a serious moment. Maybe someone told an emotional story. Maybe you were being confronted about something. Maybe you were nervous during a presentation. And suddenly, you laughed, not because you didn't care, but because the moment felt too intense. Your brain was overwhelmed by emotion, and laughter became the escape route. But there's something deeper happening too. Laughter isn't just about releasing tension, it's also about connection. Humans are incredibly social creatures. We constantly read the room, we constantly adjust our behavior. So when a moment feels socially unstable, our brain tries to stabilize it. And laughter is one of the quickest ways to signal something important to others. I'm not a threat. I'm trying to keep things light. Let's not make this moment heavier than it already is. Sometimes people laugh when they're uncomfortable because they're trying to protect the atmosphere, even if it means looking awkward themselves. Pause for a second and think about this. How many times have you laughed, not because something was funny, but because you didn't want the moment to feel worse? Maybe someone made a mistake. Maybe someone said something slightly offensive. Maybe someone accidentally embarrassed themselves. Instead of letting the moment collapse into silence, you laughed, not to mock them, but to soften the moment, to say without words, it's okay, let's move past this. There's actually a psychological term for this. It's called nervous laughter. But the name can be misleading because it makes it sound like a weakness, when in reality, it's a coping mechanism. Your brain is regulating emotional pressure in real time, just like people fidget when they're anxious. Just like some people talk more when they're nervous, others laugh. It's simply the nervous system trying to rebalance itself. And sometimes, the laughter isn't even about the present moment. It's about the emotions underneath it. Think about people who laugh during extremely emotional situations, during arguments, during difficult conversations, even during moments of grief. From the outside, it might look inappropriate, but inside, their emotional system is overloaded. When feelings become too intense, the brain searches for a release valve, and laughter becomes that release. There's also something else most people don't talk about. For many people, laughter is a shield, especially for those who grew up learning to hide discomfort. If you grew up in environments where emotions weren't openly discussed, you might have learned something subtle. Serious emotions make people uncomfortable. So instead of showing sadness or fear or awkwardness, you laugh. It keeps things light. It keeps people from asking deeper questions. It protects you from being exposed. And over time, your brain turns that into a habit. But here's the strange part. Sometimes the people who laugh the most in uncomfortable moments are the people who feel things the deepest. They're not insensitive, they're overwhelmed. Their emotional system is simply trying to manage too many signals at once. If you recognize yourself in this, pause for a moment and ask yourself something honest. Think about the last time you laughed in an uncomfortable situation. What were you actually feeling underneath? Nervousness? Embarrassment? Pressure? Maybe even fear of saying the wrong thing? When you look beneath the laughter, there's usually a real emotion hiding there. And once you start noticing this pattern, something interesting happens. You begin to see laughter differently, not as a mistake, not as something embarrassing, but as a message, a signal from your brain saying, "This moment feels intense. I'm trying to handle it." And sometimes, just recognizing that is enough to change the way you respond next time. Because awareness creates space. The next time you feel that nervous laugh rising, you might pause, take a breath, and instead of automatically laughing, you might simply sit in the moment. Maybe you respond differently. Maybe you listen more. Maybe you say something genuine, and the moment becomes more real. But even if you still laugh sometimes, that's okay too. Your brain isn't broken, it's human. It's trying to protect you. It's trying to protect the people around you, and sometimes the quickest way it knows how is through laughter. So the next time you catch yourself laughing in a moment that isn't funny, don't rush to judge yourself. Just notice it, because hidden inside that laugh is your brain doing its best to navigate the strange, complicated world of human emotions. And the more you understand that, the more compassion you'll have for yourself and for everyone else who laughs when they're uncomfortable too.